I don't want people's sympathy. I just want something put in place that can help me.
Everyone agrees that this needs to be sorted, but no one seems willing to sort it.
Theirs is a fight about life and about death, and crucially, being able to allow a doctor or a loved one to step in without being open to prosecution for assisted suicide. But a crucial Court of Appeal ruling has gone against them. It is a crushing blow for people like Paul Lamb, paralysed in a car accident 23 years ago.
As it stands at the moment, it's a question of just lay there and be quiet and suffer. And if you liken it to a dog that's in agony and it's laying on the floor, it's almost like the owner's walking away from the dog.
Multiple sclerosis sufferer Debbie Purdy sought clarification on the law to ensure that her husband wouldn't be prosecuted for assisting her suicide. She failed in her bid, as did Tony Nicklinson, who died in August last year after refusing food. The former businessman was paralysed by a stroke 8 years ago. The family now fight alongside Paul Lamb in the courts.
It was what Tony wanted so desperately, you know, it couldn't help him, but it was never just about Tony, you know, it was always about other people in a similar, you know, condition as Tony. So, you know, I'm just there to be there for Paul and carry on with Paul's case as well.
In delivering their ruling, the Court of Appeal judges said this: "It is obvious, even from this brief sketch of the facts, that these appeals raise complex and highly controversial moral and ethical issues concerning the sanctity of life. The law relating to assisting suicide cannot be changed by judicial decision. If the law is to be changed," they said, "it must be changed by Parliament."
When we use the language right to die, we're really asking for the right to be killed, and that affects the law on assisting suicide and the law on murder. Law has to be there to protect majorities, vulnerable people, everybody in society equally, and that's why it's going to be a very uphill struggle for people to change the law on euthanasia and assisted suicide.
In an unusually fast move, the Court of Appeal has granted permission almost immediately for the families to take their case to the Supreme Court, which they say they will, a sign perhaps that the court realises how important it is for this issue to be dealt with.
It is only a question of time before it's granted, and I will do everything I can in my power for as long as I can.
The Supreme Court could take months, and Paul Lamb hopes to be well enough to fight the case in person, so one day, he says, he can decide when it's time to die. Nick Martin, Sky News, Leeds.